Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Well, market's sitting up here and starting to form some major resistance in this 1511 area. 1507.50 is where we're trading right now, but again, the overnight high 1511. This is four of the last 4 days where we've topped out between 1510 and 1511.
Dennis, don't you always say there's no such thing as a quadruple top?
There's not supposed to be anything as no such thing as even a triple top, but we're seeing a quadruple one here. Obviously, maybe we take it out today. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we bumped up against it in the pre-market, so you have to use that as resistance until it's taken out. Of course, if you pop above it and come back below it, it could be a little bit of a fake out. But what I also want to point out to our traders is that 3 of the last 4 closes in the SPOOs have been within less than a buck of each other. 1506 to 1506.75. Those are the 3 closes. Boom, what do you have for the low in the pre-market? 04 in that area, so real defined ranges in the SPOOs for today's trading.
We are tightening up, winding up into a tizzy, like Joel usually says. Joel, can you bring up that video just from yesterday? Because I just want to just talk to our viewers here about one thing. Just press play on the video. So what you're watching is a preferred stock, and I'm just going to talk to you a bit about quote spam here, because this was a stock I was just looking at yesterday. FNFG.PRB. Preferred symbology is different on all. It could be /B, it could be .PB. But regardless, the stock is trading right here. And what happened was there was, it just went away. But there was 2 quotes that were, Joel's going to bring it back up here. But there was 2 quotes, or 2 different algorithms that were battling to be at the top of the book. So the spread on the stock was basically what you can see, 29.48 to 29.75, or 29.45 to 29.75. And these 2 algorithms get into a loop with each other. So basically, one bids 29.45, the next one bids 29.46. The other bids 29.47, then they penny jump in 29.48. Both algorithms trying to be at the top of the book. They marched the stock up all the way to 29.62. And then the one cancels and resets and goes back to 29.45. Then the other penny jumps 29.46. Penny jumps 29.47. And it goes into this endless loop where this actually repeats itself, this process, about every 2 seconds for 12 minutes straight, for a total of over 6,000 quotes in that 12-minute period, with no trades on the exchange. There was a couple off-exchange trades, but no trades occurring on those exchanges. So basically, you just have 2 algorithms. They don't even, human beings don't even know this is happening. They just got it basically programmed to be at the top of the book and top of the bid. And 2 programs.
Not one trade in 6,000 quote trades. There's not one trade.
Not one trade on the exchange. A couple off-exchange trades, but not one trade on the exchange. And that's typical for a preferred stock. But does it need to have 6,000 quotes in that 12-minute period? We talk about quote spam. We talk about it being taxing on the exchanges, costly to everyone, really. And it's annoying to watch. If you're looking at this stock, look at how annoying you are, or how annoying that is to look at the bid changing that rapidly. And that's pretty much how fast, a little bit faster than what it was in real life, but that's pretty much how quickly it was changing. I mean, I had to go download the consolidated tape because you couldn't even see all the prices that were changing because it was changing so rapidly. So
were you trying to do something in this stock at the time? Or
I actually, sometimes
noticed?
I trade preferred stocks, but no, I just happen to be I trade all kinds of different stuff. I happen to stumble across that. I've got basically some different tickers. And I was like, I could see it flashing on my screen. I got sometimes tickers up with over 200-300 different symbols, and I can see the quote flashing. So then I brought it up, and I was like, well, this would be a good educational video because I do see this every once in a while happen.
And if there was cancellation charges,
if there's cancellation charges, somebody's getting pounded here. So, and that's what they've talked about before, is maybe imposing some type of order cancellation charge, where if you cancel 9 out of 10 orders, or something like better than 90 or 95% of your orders, you will get charged a fee. This has been talked about, has not been passed, but it would try to eliminate some stuff like this. The only problem is if you put in an order cancellation charge, you don't want to tax different participants, like the statistical arbitrage players or your regular market makers, because obviously they are providing a service and providing liquidity. But I mean, this is not doing nothing to help the market when you get 2 algos battling each other in an endless loop.
How
So
long did this go on for, Dennis?
12 minutes straight before probably something changed on the quote. Maybe a real bidder came in, and then it stops all this games. Because right now there's just the two algos basically bidding back and forth, trying to be at the top of the book. So I obviously annoying to watch something like that for 12 minutes. So we better take it off our screen, or all our listeners will stop listening. We'll move on to what is happening with the market today. But I just wanted to give you that little video there to educate you on quote spam. Um, we had lots of earnings here overnight. Visa reported last night. Stock actually bounced around quite a bit, actually. I actually had a couple of trades in an after hours. Bring up the after hours chart there, Joel. So,
Whew!
stock
Spiked
initially.
up to 163.
Yeah, we're just on that line. Yeah, so it spiked up originally a little bit too high, then it spiked all the way down. Actually got back up into that 160 to be up a little bit, then spiked back down again and is now trading down here about a buck. Fairly light volume here this morning, only trading 2,600 shares, but traded quite a few shares last night. Looks to be a little bit light, despite beating $1.93 against $1.79. I mean, we know these stocks, MasterCard, Visa, have been on a tear. So for them to go up after an earnings report, they really need to hit it out of the park. They didn't do that in this case, and the stock is just trading down just slightly here in the pre-market.
Yeah, from the pre-market chart, getting consolidation at the 159 area. Going to yesterday's range here, 158.62 was yesterday's low. So let's keep an eye on that level. If you cannot hold that level, you got about a 2-byte drop to 156.80. Looking at the high from yesterday, not too far from it. In fact, we closed 6 cents off the high at 160.82, 160.88 high. That coincides with the high back right at the $161 level. So not much to glean from the pre-market action, but let's keep an eye on 161 on the upside as resistance in Visa.
News Corp also reported earnings. They beat by a couple of cents, 44 versus 42. NWS, or you can go NWSA. NWSA is actually the more actively traded one, so let's just bring up NWSA. They have two symbols, so both stocks just track each other, so you can pretty much trade either one of them or trade them. Well, I used to trade them against each other, but again, the statistical arbitrage high-frequency traders have monopolized that, so you can't really make money doing that anymore. But 28.20 is where it got up to, or actually after hours it got up to a little bit higher than that. You can see trade up to 28.70, then sold off massively after the report. Bounced up a little bit here this morning, but is selling off again.
Yeah, we actually got over that $28.60 level, got to $28.79, and then someone reevaluated their position, sold off down to $26.75, and kind of got some yo-yo action here in the pre-market in this stock. But let's go to the daily. The stock has just had a great run here. Since December, climbing from 24.5 bucks. The recent high of the move has been 28.43. We sniffed that yesterday at 28.31. But with it, declining now like it has, you got to use yesterday's low as resistance. Yesterday's low was 28.07. We are currently 50 odd cents away from there. So I think some offers based on the dip in the pre-market are going to start accumulating at the $28 level. You also had some multiple lows at around 27.32 to 41. Minor support, and the major support comes in at the 4 consecutive lows that you had the stock in the middle of January, right around the $27 level.
Something else to consider is that if you could draw a trend line on that, the uptrend there is definitely broken here in the pre-market. If we do open down around 27.45 where we're trading, obviously that beautiful uptrend, that's close enough, but you can see the beautiful uptrend that we have had will be broken here. So considering that, if it pulls back up to that trend line, like you were saying, 28 area, you may find some sellers.
That's not bad for my first trend line.
You did a pretty good job. I'll give you that there, Joel. Green Mountain Coffee, GMCR, reported earnings here too. They beat about 11.76 versus 65. Stock, though, trading down significantly here in the pre-market on big-time volume. You can see the spike down after earnings there last night. Eventually did start to drift back up, but now selling off here once again. You often see this. You'll see a big down move, a little bit of covering, a little bit of fading back, and then the continuation of the original move. And that's what's happened here this morning. Stock trading down almost $4 here now at $44.99.
Yeah, I saw all the numbers and I'm looked. I'm like, man, this stock must be up. That's, I guess, what the initial algos thought. Got up to 53.73.
Ridiculous. That's a news
Yeah, it
algo
came
overshoot.
crashing down to 43.20. But since then, in the pre-market, you can kind of say you've had a little bit of an uptrend here. Finding trading at $45 right now. Let's take a look at the daily chart. You do have this low here at 44 bucks. Did get below that in the pre-market. I'd be using that as support. If in fact you take out that 44, the looks pretty wide open between 44 and 42 to find a resistance level here. We're $2 away from yesterday's low of 46.68. So probably see some offers at the whole numbers.
Yeah, we've got a lot of earnings here today. We're not going to have time to go through them all. I want to go to DeVry, which is symbol DV, because this stock is absolutely flying after its earnings report here. Stock closed 26.12. They reported 78 cents versus 56, so blew the numbers away. You can just see here after hours. This is absolutely an incredible move for this stock. $26 stock is now trading up at 31.90, so it looks like this is going to be one of your best stocks of the day. Wow, just blowing through everything. It just keeps climbing. It doesn't stop, Joel. It's crazy. It's crazy.
$32 is the last
It's
trade.
crazy.
Not a, I wouldn't want to be short this stock yet. Yet, $32 is the high that we hit in the pre-market.
Right now,
Not a ton of volume associated
12,000.
with this. I can imagine looking at the daily here. We're out of range. Looking at the weekly here. Let's go to the
Oh, look
weeklies
there.
for some.
Look at that
Yep,
July high.
yep. That's what we can use as a reference point here, folks. If you've been holding the stock since July 2012, here's your chance to get out even. 31.80 was the high on that day, so I'd imagine 31.80 to 32. Look at that level. I mean, obviously, with these kind of stocks and these kind of movements, you like to see, what happens at 925, 926, 927, where the actual high is in the pre-market, and then use that as a reference point. Also, just had some consolidation here back in April and May at 32. So Kevin likes the 32 level, and so do I.
Just be careful though, because when a stock rallies from 26 to 32, $6 just like that after hours on very light volume, who knows where it's going? I mean, I kind of like that too. Would I sell it in the pre-market here? Probably not. But if it started looking toppy there in the regular session, when you get a little bit more liquidity in, maybe I'd try it. But I do remember this one after the last report too. I think if you can go back, oh man, I can't really see it on the chart there, but if you go back a few months ago, I remember it reported. Actually, I'm thinking of maybe no, it was in October there, I believe it was. There was a big lift up there. You can see the one bar from about 21 to 26. I remember I tried shorting this that day. I was like, this thing got up to 24, 25, and I was like, it's got to be the top. And it blew through me in like 5 minutes, and it was at 26 and a half. I was like, well, that was a bad trade. It literally blew through. There was no liquidity. So this is a stock you can lose a buck or two on in a hurry. So don't think, I'm going to limit my risk to 32. If it goes up below, above 32, a clever 32.20. Man, this thing goes fast. So you've got to be really careful if you're trading this stock, because it could be at 33, 34 in a heartbeat as well. So I'm going to sit back and just sit on my hands on this one, because I got hurt on the last earnings report trying to trade this. Once bitten, twice shy there, Joel.
Well, would you sell it if you were long? You were long in your
I'd be
portfolio.
long gone if I would have been gone at 30 probably if I had it long in my portfolio. But yeah, that's a different story, obviously. But initiating a short here, 32 does look like a good number from a technical perspective, but we've just watched this blow through a lot of levels, so be careful. A couple other ones just to highlight. We're not going to have time to go into details, but Prudential missed earnings, PRU. The stock hasn't traded this morning, but is offered down. We've also got AKAM. We might as well talk about this one because this one's down big. AKAM. Stock actually beat earnings, but they were light on revenue. They see lower Q1 sales. They don't like that when you say lower sales in the next quarter. They are absolutely taking the stock, beating it to a pulp. 34.64 is where it's trading right now after closing at 41.58. Wow, that is a licking that thing is taken.
34.20 is just what it hit in the pre-market. If you go out and take a look at the dailies, You find a low here
34
back
bucks.
in this. Yep, 34.09 was low on November 27th. So use that as a reference point. As you see in the pre-market, you are approaching that level. Also, after, just one notice on this is that you did have the steep decline, and now it kind of. I mean, you can't call it a rounding bottom until it starts to head up, but certainly finding a little bit of support here between 34 and 35.
Noble Energy, Tesoro, Sprint all reported quite a few reports. Obviously, we don't have time to go into them all. I wanted to highlight Apple. SEC's dividend here today for $2.65. Stock actually trading. You have to adjust your close. The adjusted close is 454.70 for the dividend. It closed 457.35 yesterday. Pays 265 dividend. So adjusted close 454.70. It's actually trading right about flat right now. It keeps bouncing back and forth between up 25 cents and down 25 cents. I know your trade station says 289 down, but it is an adjusted close for the dividend. Trading slightly down here. What's your take here? This Apple is really consolidating here, and obviously we had a nice breakout there yesterday. There was rumors that they might increase the buyback or possibly increase the dividend. Those didn't come to fruition overnight. Stock still kind of drifting down, has given back the gains from those rumors there yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, that 460 level did hold up nicely in the morning. I believe it got to 559.70 or 559.75, and then sold off. And then that news came out. It did blow up through there. Made a new high since earnings had been announced. The old high was at 465.73. We got to 466.50 yesterday, so exceeded by that just
Just a
by
hair.
a little bit. I'd like to see this close above the 460 level. It took it out, but couldn't close away from there. Now you have the ex-dividend and whatnot. So looking for Apple to close above 460.
ExxonMobil also ex-dividend today, 59-cent dividend it paid, or 57-cent dividend it paid. Adjusted close on ExxonMobil is 89.22. Stock's trading at 89.33, so it's actually trading up here. Interesting. I don't know. It had a bad tick, I think, there yesterday because I don't think that thing traded
Yep,
down to
it did.
86
It
bucks.
did. 89.16 was the low. Getting nice
89.16 was the
support
low.
here right around the $89 level. So we'll keep an eye on that. And it did pop over 90 a few days ago, but getting real nice resistance at the $90 level.
Credit Suisse is bearish Johnson & Johnson here this morning. They are downgrading the stock on relative valuation. Stock is trading down 39 cents here. Interesting analyst. The stock is breaking out to new, is that a new all-time high on Johnson & Johnson or new
Oh,
52?
by far.
Oh, by
By
far. So
far.
it hit a new all-time high, closed on a new all-time high yesterday. Credit Suisse comes out and says enough is enough and downgrades it today. Stock is trading down 39 cents, but here's one of those examples where you got a stock getting downgraded that has been breaking out and running. So obviously I look at this as probably a potential buying opportunity. If this thing could drift back in that 74.50 area, I think
Yep.
yesterday's low could give you some decent support.
Yeah, the double bottom from yesterday, I was looking just off the open. I saw that this was, you know, opening up right into the support area, and it just turned around and rallied all
Right on.
day. Look for that area, 74.50. I mean, if you're trying to protect some gains on the long side, you want to shrug off this analyst downgrade. Use that area as a potential stop out point, because this is just, I don't think I've ever seen Johnson and
It's a
Johnson
hell of a
make a
run.
run like this. Yep.
LinkedIn reports tonight here, Joel LNKD stock has been on a tear as well. Basically, since bottoming November at 95, it's been straight up. It's approaching its highs as well. It's at 126.02 this morning, just up 30 cents. The high of the move has been 127.46. Obviously, going to be interesting to see how volatile this one is after the report. But these high multiple stocks, you can say, well, they just can't seem to, but how can they continue to run like this? But I mean, Amazon keeps running, so who knows? Fundamentally, maybe the valuation is a little rich for me, but the stock continues to outperform.
Do like that. If you're trying just to not sell the top and let the thing run, you do have multiple lows around the $122 area. 122.02 was the low on the 31st. It's a good $4 away from here. So as long as the stock stays above 122, I'm looking to continue north.
Just finishing up here with overall market thoughts, Joel. We are sitting here. We're up a quarter of a point, 1507. Very muted action, like you pointed out. Potential quadruple top of 1511. Obviously, if we can take that out, maybe we go into breakout mode. I still tend to think that we are consolidating, getting ready to make another run here. But you can't argue with the technicals. There is a big, a lot of resistance forming in that 1511 area.
Yep, and just use that as a reference point. Also, like I said, if we break above it, come back below it. It's always good to play it close to the belt. Yesterday's low, just under the $1,500 level at $14.99. That's your major support. We're going to stop the regular broadcast here.
And we'll be back with our regular broadcast there tomorrow. And if you want to join us live for their question and answer session, just send us an email at info@premarketinfo.com.